sure. So I'm going to start in the same spot I did last year, which is over here. And then follow me over here. The very bottom shelf is just DVDs. I'm not even going to talk about that. But over here, I've got my Disney Infinity box. In the back, I've got the NES action set. And I've got my Mega Man 64 in the box. I've got the Donkey Kong Jungle Beat in the box. And over here, I've got the Nintendo 64 Power Glove, or whatever you want to call it, the glove controller that I found at Myrtle Beach for a really good price. And then moving up from last year, I only had I only had the Jungle Green 64 over here, and now I have the entire Fantastic series complete now with the matching controllers, which was very awesome and hard to find, but most of these came from David and Pawn Shop, so I'm very thankful to them that they helped me complete this collection. Behind it, you can't really see it, but I've got my smoke gray Nintendo 64 in the box. Above that, I got some Game Boy Advance games like Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. And then over here behind them, I've got some Nintendo 64 games, mostly sports games are back there, but just the boxes. Up here, I have a Pikachu 64, which is David's Pikachu 64. We made a really good trade on it. With he ended up getting a boxed complete one, and I ended up getting a loose one, which is what I wanted. So it's very, very good. These are some collectible Nintendo mugs or glasses from our local game store, G2K Games. They did it for Christmas 2013. So I got some pre-owned games in the process, and I got me 4 really awesome collectible glasses. And then behind there, I've got a bunch of Nintendo 64 boxes. Some of them have the box protectors, but most of these are all brand new compared to last year. Most of these are stuff I found at the beach or the pawn shop, mostly the pawn shop. So that's all of them. I got Zelda, Mario 64, Pilot Wings, Mickey Speedway, so just a lot of stuff I didn't have last year. And then on the top here, I've got 3 of my favorite Nintendo 64 games in the box, including Banjo-Kazooie. Mary Lou got me that. I'm really, really excited to have that in the box. And it came with the manual too. Then Mario Kart 64. And behind this, I have a bunch of booklets for my games that I'm out of space for booklets, so they're all over here, including a Virtual Boy booklet. I've also got the Frozen soundtrack for some reason. Let it go, let it go. In up here. And I've got some in-label stickers, also from the pawn shop, for Nintendo 64 games. I haven't put them on yet, but that's what I'm going to do. You can see them. They're really high quality. They look really nice. So it's going to give me a better way to display my games. And then this is also new from last year. I had TV shows up here, but now I've got all my Nintendo Power magazines, my Game Informer magazines, my Walmart Game Center magazines, and my Player's Guides. And I've also got a few comics in here, I believe. But I'll move those eventually. But yep, I've got a bunch of these like really cool ones lately, Player's Guides. I've even got Pokemon Gold and Silver in there, so it's very nice. But that's that shelf. And last year I didn't even talk about up here on the very top. Last year I completely forgot about it, but I got my Nintendo DS family kind of going. I don't have the original box yet, but I got the DS Lite, the DSi, the 3DS, and the 2DS. I'm trying to expand that and get the original DS and whatever else. But I've got a lot of stuff up here. My 360 box, well, one of my 360 boxes. Guitar Hero on Tour, Decades. I've got like a Simon Says toy from the 80s. I've got some Pokemon. I've got my sealed copy of New Super Luigi U, which has another home later on. Super Mario Bros. 2 on the NES, complete. I've got a lot of stuff up here. I've got my Wii U box up here, my Genesis box up here. I've got a Halo 10, which you can't even see, and then I've got like a Nintendo Power bonus issue up here, because I don't have room for it yet. But that's on the top shelf. Then I've actually expanded my game collection to this wall. I've got some posters here and a zombie ear keychain, but I've got some posters here. Ooh. Then I've also got some magnets recently. The Banjo-Kazooie box art magnet, Atari Age, and Halo 2600. So then moving on over here. Last year, hopefully they could show a before picture if they had it. All the portable boxes. And then I got my Club Nintendo Game & Watch. I got my Kid Icarus Uprising box and the Wii GoldenEye 007 box. And then here is all of my portables for the Game Boy Color, the Game Boy, and the Game Boy Advance SP, and the Sega handheld. Very small collection for that one. Last year, my Game Boy Color games were all stacked up on this shelf. This little shelf over here. They were all stacked up on it, and you couldn't see them because there's no end labels. It was a very bad way to display them. So, this is this gave me an idea of where I used to play with trading cards. David had this little, I think it was an official Game Boy, like on-the-go traveling case. So I took that and used trading card sleeves, and this is how I displayed my Game Boy Color games now. So they look really nice, one game per sleeve. Very nice access, you can alphabetize them, but I've just got them in order because I don't have as many as I'd like yet. But, and then I've also got my Game Boy Advance games in here, which you can hold too. So I've got quite a lot of them, but it makes a very great display piece, especially if you're collecting the handhelds. But it's very, very nice, and they're not expensive at all, less than $1 for like 17. I've also got some more booklets in here for Game Boy Advance, and where are they at? Just a second. I've got my Virtual Boy games and my Game Gear games all in here. So I've got Mario Clash, I've got several copies of Mario Tennis, I've got Galactic Pinball and Wario Land for the Virtual Boy. Then on the Sega handheld, I have like 3 or 4 games for it. I'm not even sure what I did with it, but I think they're in here, maybe. But yeah, I got like Lion King, Power Rangers, and then I've got Columns and Sonic 2 in the actual systems. So there's my Game Gear collection. I need to work on that. That would be a good goal for next year. But moving on from this is a box I didn't even show last year. I actually have this behind the couch because I don't ever use these. But come over here and get a shot of this. These are all of my little games, like little handheld games, that I don't play with often. Most of these came from like Happy Meals and stuff, like this Sonic one here. A lot of them are repeats, but there's no real place I can display most of these at this point. Mary Lou's 20 question. Simon says, yeah, but most of these I don't play much. You can beat them in like a few minutes. Some Gigapets. That one's a KFC one. But yeah, I've got a bunch of those, and you know, I pick them up when I see them in yard sales and stuff, but I usually don't play them as much. Then these are only out right now because for this video. But last year I said I wanted to get all 6 of the Pokemon, and I have the Golden Pikachu as well. I'm actually thinking about collecting all of those cards one day as well. I don't know how many there are, but it would be interesting to get a couple more Pokeballs too. This one's got some scratches on the surface. So I actually have them in here. I'll go ahead and open them all up. But last year I said I wanted to collect them all.
Catch 'em all. Gotta catch 'em all. Pokemon.
And I managed to find them once again, courtesy of the pawn shop. So I actually managed to find them all. It was really, really nice. Then moving on from that, down to my 64 shelf. It is now completely full. I'm actually going to have to take some games and put them on the side now, but this shelf will actually hold them all. Minus one, I actually ran into a Japanese game at Myrtle Beach. I didn't even realize it, so I couldn't tell, but I got a Japanese game on complete accident. But yeah, that's my 64 games. I'm only about, I think, 25 to 30 games away now from having the complete 296. I was actually aiming to have it complete by this video, but I didn't quite make it. I've also got a couple rental cases and my Game Shark cartridge over here. But yeah, these will eventually have to be moved to hold all of the games. Down here, PS4, which is new from last year. But I've also got my original 360 box and my PS3 box in here as well. I need to find a better spot to display those. Slightly over here, I've got my Link's crossbow training. That's new. I've got a Super Mario 64 pinball machine, which is very, very nice. courtesy of the pawn shop. Again, very, very cool piece. I wasn't sure where I'd put it, but it is nice to have. I'm a sucker for 64 things. This is my box of booklets from last year. It is completely full now. I don't have much room at all. Illusions of Gaia, just a lot of things that I got. A lot of 64s and Super Nintendo manuals that I've picked up since last year. But it's completely full, and I'm looking for a better way to display those as well. Down here on this new shelf is I have my ColecoVision games, my 7800 games, and then all my 2600 games. In the very back here, you probably won't be able to see it good on camera. It's a tight fit, but it's all my Intellivision games as well. Then below that, I've got my Sega Genesis games in the back and my Atari 5200 games over here. I'm actually going for a complete collection of 7800, 5200, and Intellivision games eventually. I'm not going after them right now, but I will once I finish with the 64. Then, back up to this shelf, from the top down, got some batteries for later. I have my Fallout 3 Collector's Edition and my Fallout New Vegas Collector's Edition. Also a Tiger handheld game that I've picked up. My Pikachu toy, also from the pawn shop. It's a piggy bank, I believe, from the 90s. Over here, I've got some of my boxed NES games. So I've got Rad Racer, Major League Baseball by LGN, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Tetris, and then I got Pac-Man for the Atari. Got a couple Super Nintendo games, Super Pinball, and International Tennis Tour. Then these are not technically a part of my game collection, but I had to leave them in here anyways. They're the cartoon TV shows or movies, video games that I have right now, and I put DuckTales up there just because I love DuckTales so much, but that's what those are. These look like Famicom games, but they're not. They came with the, I think it's called the Factor 5 system. It's just a cartridge with 5 or 6 games on it. So it's pretty cool, but they're not actual games. They're like knockoff versions of Bomberman and Rad Racer and stuff. Got my Mario and Luigi remotes. This is not the permanent home for them either right now. This is where they are for the moment. Got a couple of unlicensed NES games here, like Big Nose the Caveman, RGI Baseball, and Rolling Thunder. I have my Game Shark Pro for the 64 videotape. I have the Making of the Seventh Guest VHS tape, which I found for $1, which was a great price. I have a VCR cleaning head, and I've also got my Banjo-Kazooie N64 video. I had that last year in my last video. I did not collect any more of those yet. Still working on it. This entire shelf is new, and this is now the home of all my NES games, and it's almost completely full. I have over 200. I'm approaching the 250 mark. So it's looking good on the NES games. I've got a lot of them, and right now I'm actually slowing down on it so I can catch back up and play a lot of the ones that I haven't got to play yet. But they're really awesome. I love the NES. Moving on, also new this year, the Virtual Boy. What can I say about the Virtual Boy? It's on the same shelf as my Atari 5200. Last year I actually said, at this part of the video, I said I wanted to have a 7800 here. Don't have one. I got a 5200. I'll probably not play this a lot at all. Then I have also a smaller system that not a lot of gamers consider a system, but I do. It's kind of like a premature version of the Kinect. It's basically just like a webcam attached to a system. But the reason I consider it a system is because it actually has cartridges. And there's, I think, like 12 cartridges for the system, and 4 of them are actually in the 4-in-1. So it's pretty cool. And I do want to eventually collect them all, because that is a complete game collection, and it's a nice addition. And they are pretty fun sometimes. All my PS2 games are on this shelf. I haven't got many new ones of them. I think from like here over are the ones I've gotten since last year. Not too many. I picked up some from GameStop and the pawn shop, but it's the PlayStation 2. I didn't get many more. The PS3. I actually decided to merge my PS3 and PS4 games together. I haven't really decided how I'm going to display my next-gen console games yet, so until then I've actually been merging the 3 together. So until I do find a way to display them, I'm going to merge them, but This is my PS3 and my PS4 games. I've gotten quite a few since last time. This shelf's almost filled up now. 1 or 2 more games later, and it will be. So next year, I'm curious to see where my next-gen games are going to be. If they're going to still be merged, or if they're going to be on a whole shelf of their own. Down here's the GameCube. I've got quite a few since last time. Most of them are the same, but last year I don't think I even had this whole thing full, and now it's full, and they're stacking up on top of each other, which is always good. Down here, I've got my PS3 empty hollow shell on the floor. I've got my 2 Game Gears, my Wii box, and my PSP games. Haven't gotten any new PSP games since last year. Not probably going to work on that. All the way back up to the top. On this shelf, I've done quite a lot with this shelf since last year. I've got my GoldenEye box. I've got my Kirby anniversary. I think it's like its 25th anniversary box. I've got my Kid Icarus box, and then I've got my Game Boy Advance. I've got my Zelda figurines, my Pokemon Rumble figurines, Mario gummies, Popeye for the NES in the box, a Game Boy Advance boxed. I got my Infamous 2 statue, Gears of War in the collector's tin, and then I got Enchanted Arms that came with the comic in the back. On this shelf, I have a really cool Portal figurine. It's of a Sentry turret. I've got the box for it back there, and I've got my Fallout 3 bobblehead. Over here, still haven't finished collecting these yet, but I've got my my old Pokeball, and then I've got my Ash Ketchum Tommy toy. Down here on this one, I got my Game Boy Micro and my GoldenEye controller. And then over here, I actually managed to get, that was one of my goals from last year, my Pac-Man arcade machine tin. But I also picked up a Space Invaders tin. So it was quite nice to find both of those, and I'm hoping that whoever's making these continues to make them, because now I've got 3 arcade systems, and that's all pretty cool. On to this side,